and welcome to another episode of the University Duel Podcast, where we talk about university life and more. And today with me, I have Opeyemi, but I'm going to allow him introduce himself and just tell us a little bit about what he does.
Okay. I'm Opeyemi Awolola by name. So, CTO of SWAP Technologies.
Okay.
I studied at Tech.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Physics. Applied physics. Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting. Where did you study physics?
Well, that was not my choice though.
Everybody that studies physics never wanted to study physics.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it though?
Well, I did.
Okay.
While it lasted.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So today we want to talk about studying and what makes studying difficult. So if I were to use myself as a case study, I wouldn't particularly say studying was easy or difficult. It was just a case where I don't know if I have an exam tomorrow,
okay,
I haven't read by today.
All right.
So I need to wait till 2 a.m. when I'm hearing oh my God, you guys, exam is actually tomorrow. Exam is actually tomorrow, and then I'll find somewhere where I will be pacing all over the hallway trying to throw everything into my head all at once. And so I just never really figured out how to study in a manner that was healthy. So what do you think are some of the factors that would contribute to not studying appropriately?
Well, thank you so much. One of the things I actually noticed that is the major determinant affecting studying, because I want to use myself as an example. Absolutely. Now. While at school, just because I did not initially have interest for the course itself, so it was quite a bit difficult for me. Yeah, we studied in physics. Actually applied for computer science and engineering. Yeah, but I was just surprised that I was not given the course, of which I made the cut. Yeah, I made the cut of marks and all, but probably because the required students for the department
and there's nobody
is
in physics, so everybody's going.
So I pushed there. So the very first thing I want to talk about is the interest. If you really don't have interest in it, it would be quite difficult to even study. So that's the very first thing I want to make mention of. The interest itself is the very first thing. Yeah.
Okay, so now the world has evolved, and for example, I was kind of interested in what I studied, even though I was more indifferent than anything, but I didn't hate it. I enjoyed it actually. But I was, first of all, I think I struggled a lot, and a lot of people would attest to this, with distractions.
Okay.
So I went to a school where all my coursework was on my laptop.
Oh, okay.
So literally, let's say it's very crazy. I have an exam tomorrow.
Okay.
From 6 p.m.
All right.
I'll sit down on my bed or my table. Even on my table, I'll be you know what? I'm going to read today. That by the time I've done reading it, nobody will be better than me. But guess what? I'm going to open Microsoft Spider Solitaire.
Wow.
And I'll play. And I'll keep on playing till it's 12 midnight. And then when I'm tired of Solitaire, I'm going to go and open Twitter. And then shuttle between Twitter and Instagram until I can literally feel my brain frying. So I think another challenge would be, as much as technology helps and aids education and studying, it also serves as a distraction.
Yeah,
and so how do you think in this day and age where stuff is on your phone or you have a phone at your disposal, how can you balance that with having to actually, you know how they say face your book, not Facebook? How do you figure that out?
Well, I would say the advent of technology has actually helped in studying, while it has its own distractions as well. Yeah, at times you may actually just want to Google something, then you see a news feed. From there, you jump to Facebook or to YouTube or to TikTok, whichever platform you are on. Well, what I would rather do in some cases is, if I actually want to study, I just have to be determined that these apps, I'm not going to touch it for quite some time. Because if funny enough, when we were still there, I think we only had Facebook and all, because that was around 2012 or so. So really, there wasn't that much distraction back then. But I would say that determination also comes to play.
Absolutely.
Yeah, because you can actually, just like you said earlier, you may actually open up the laptop to study.
And
Then you see a movie. Then you sleep off, only for you to wake up like hours to the exams.
Yes.
So I'll just say determination actually plays a very big role. This is what I want to do, and I have to face it like head on. One other thing that I also noticed back then, my elder brother, more like a cousin actually, he stayed with us. So whenever I want to read, he has to play music to read. So he's like, let me say about 10 years older than me. So he already graduated before I got to university. So on getting to university, I wanted to try that also. Wow.
Colossal failure.
It was just then difficult. So I noticed that what worked for him did not work for me. So I had to find my own balance. Yes. What do I do most times? I had to leave my house actually. I'll go into more like an open field or a school, more like secondary schools that are not on term or not activities going on during the time. So I use that opportunity to just sit down. I like my silence. Yeah. I just like my silence.
He's a very quiet, calm, shy person.
So with that, it actually helps. So, but the major thing I want to pinpoint here is the determination. Yeah, because you can actually be alone and not focused on what you're doing. So you must be determined that this is what I want to do and be ready to do it.
Absolutely. I'm so happy that you touched on something that I was going to get onto, which is like now that I'm trying to go back to school for my master's, and I think that because I'm just more self-aware, I would be a better studier. And I think that also plays to what you were talking about. Your cousin, he studies perfectly with music, and then that doesn't work for you. So I think another thing is being able to identify your own patterns and just how you go about studying. But I also want us to touch on something a little bit before we wrap it up, and that's the fact that the education system is in a way where it is not accommodating of different learning types. So for some people, they need to read once and they've read it and they understand. Some people need to hear stuff, while some people need to see stuff and some people need to touch stuff. So in that regard, especially when we have an education system where another thing is a lot of times people don't want you to understand stuff, they just want you to repeat what has been, and not everybody's brain is capable of cramming. So how, as an individual in the Nigerian education system, and let's say my own way of learning is through like actually engaging with stuff physically, how would you advise such persons to go through studying?
Well, I'd still like to use myself
absolutely
as an example here. I think the very first thing is identify yourself, the patterns that works for you. Once you are able to determine that, because I can remember that whenever I'm in class, once I pay attention, I may not even take notes of what is being written, but that actually sticks in my brain very well. And I actually have friends that they have to study over and over before they can actually get what is being said. So what I would just advise is each individual should study themselves, that what method actually works for me. Do I need to probably study it more like, do I need to touch, just like I treated earlier, that do I need to touch it more? Do I need to watch video tutorials on it? Do I need to call someone to teach me? Do I need to get a private tutor? Do I need to just dedicate more time to this? So I think it all comes down to the individual himself. You have to be self-aware of what actually works for you. So it is just through that you'll be able to know which method to take. And also, well, I just want to throw this in. Probably those that are close to us, we can also ask them to assess us. Because there are times that you might not even know what works for you.
Things,
But if you have friends or colleagues or brothers or sisters or even parents and all, they can help with that process also. So that
that's true.
you can easily get that. Because without it, wow.
You fail.
It's definitely.
Oh wow. Okay.
Right.
Thank you so much. That was very, very insightful. Thank you so much for.
Thank
like
you.
Opeyemi is very. He's just like, ooh, I want to leave here. So thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you for taking out the time and
You're
talking with
welcome.
us. This was really interesting.
Thank you.
And that is all on this episode of the University Duel Podcast. See you next time. Bye.